All right, you guys, I'm going to tell you again and again and again. It is all about the kingdom. And currently we're reading Matthew, me and my wife, and I'm just reminded so much of what Jesus talks about. Again, out of about 40 parables, Jesus references the kingdom in half of them. Let us talk about this one in Matthew 13 in verse 44. Ready? Jesus says, again, the kingdom of heaven is like treasure hidden in a field, which a man found and hid, and for joy over it, he goes and sells all that he has and buys that field. This is Jesus trying to get us to understand, again, a little bit more of what the kingdom is and how precious and important the kingdom is. Look, once again, this is a parable, so it's a story. And Jesus is saying that once this man found this hidden treasure in this field, that he went and sold everything he had so that he can have this field. And I believe this is Jesus telling us that, like, there's nothing more important than the kingdom. Like, if you're going to go and sell everything you have to buy this one piece of property, that's because you believe that this piece of property is the most important thing that there is to obtain. And I think that's what Jesus is trying to get us to understand, is that, like, once we hear the kingdom, once we understand the kingdom, this is the most important thing in our lives. And this is why Jesus says in the gospel also, he tells that one man, like, let the dead bury the dead, but you come and follow me, right? Jesus tells us that we must lift our cross every day. And so when he tells us here in this parable that this man goes and sells all that he has so that he can obtain this field, that's Jesus telling us that when you hear the message of the kingdom and you understand the kingdom, that is the most important thing of your life. And this is what you need to live for. This is what you need to die for. This is what you need to bring all of your friends, your family, your acquaintances, bring your enemies to come and inherit the kingdom, because it is the most important thing in our lives. And again, Jesus spoke in parables so that it was what he says here in Matthew 11. He tells his apostles that because it has been given to you to know the mysteries of the kingdom, but to them it has not been given. So Jesus speaks in parables to try and make it a little bit easier to understand what he's teaching. But to the inner crowd, to his apostles and to the inner circles, he speaks more direct and clearly about his parables. And so when Jesus says, let him, you need to have ears to hear and eyes to see, that he wants us to understand what he's saying about the kingdom here in these parables. So my friends, once you hear the message of the kingdom, go seek the kingdom further. Go try to understand the kingdom further and try to inherit the kingdom. Remember, Jesus says in Luke 17 that the kingdom is within you. It is within you. It is within me. We need to manifest the kingdom here on earth as it is in heaven. Go read Matthew 13, read the parables, and try to understand what Jesus is telling you today about the kingdom.